What's up, guys and gals, and welcome to another YugiBOOM Deck Profile. Today we're going to be featuring my favorite monster, Buster Blader. Alright guys, in this YugiBOOM Deck Profile, I'm going to show you every single card I use in this Buster Blader deck. Plus, I'm going to show you two great combos on how you can get this deck's most powerful monsters out on your opponent's first turn if you're going first. Alright guys, for the monsters, first we're going to run 3 Buster Bladers. 1, 2, 3. In this deck, you want to see it in your hand, on the field, or in the graveyard. You don't want them banished, that's why you run all 3. We don't run the other Buster Blader monster either, because his name isn't always Buster Blader, and for the combos to work, you need this deck to be really thin, and you need to be able to search this guy out. So, 3 Buster Bladers. Then we run 1, 2, 3 Whelps. This card is great when it's normal summoned. You can search, plus you can tribute it to special summon a Buster Blader from hand or graveyard, or you can get it back from the graveyard as well. So it's got some great effects there. Alright, we run 1, 2, 3 Dragon Buster Destruction Swords. There's a couple other cards similar like this for the Destruction Sword engine, but we don't play them in this deck. This card allows you to special summon it from, or first allows you to equip it from your hand to a Buster Blader monster on the field, then special summon it from the equip zone to the field, and then you can synchro obviously because it's a tuner. I failed to mention Whelp is also a tuner as well. So there you got some great synchro plays off to get Buster Dragon out pretty quickly. That's it for the actual Buster Blader specific monsters. Next you run 1, 2, 3 Sage. Now at first I was against Sage. I tested this in this deck a lot. It kind of wasted the normal summon sometimes, where I normal summon, then I'd search out the Whelp, but because the Whelp is a light monster as well. But unfortunately it didn't actually help me out that much, because then I had to wait till next turn to actually do anything else after that. So because I run the Brilliant engine now in this deck, it allows it to get that extra normal summon out, and actually this card is really useful for the combo I'll show you later. So 3 Sage, of course 1 Garnet and 1 Trick Clown for the Brilliant engine. If you don't like to play risky, you can run 2 Garnet, but this deck is really going for that optimal hand on first turn. Plus, of course, Trick Clown. You have other light targets, but Trick Clown is always great to get back for the field for links. And to round out the monsters, 2 Ghost Ogres for the hand traps. Nice and simple, keep it clean. Ghost Ogre is great because it's a tuner too. I don't think I actually run anything in the extra deck can utilize it anymore. I used to run Leo, but still it's a great hand trap to have in today's format. Moving on to the spells. 1 Emblem of Dragon Destroyer, so that's like your 4th Buster Blader basically. You want to draw into that. We only run 1. If you want to see Buster Blader more often, you can probably bump this card up to 2. But it's pretty much an essential in this deck just to keep things moving. Also, we run 2 Destruction Swordsman fusions for the Buster Blader specific spells. We run these 2 of these cards. You want to see it more often because of some of the traps that I run, specifically DNA Surgery. Wait to see that card in a second. But this card allows you to fusion summon Buster Blader. So you play this card, fusion summon with a Buster Blader from your hand or the field, as well as a Dragon monster from your hand or the field, and you can summon into the fusion monster. The thing about it is it's either side of the field. So if your opponent has a Dragon monster, you can use this card, or if your opponent has monsters that are being changed to dragons, hint hint, by other cards, you can use this cards as well. It's a quick play, and it's recyclable from the graveyard by discarding, and sometimes you want to have just cards discarded in this deck, specifically the traps, so it's not bad to kind of get back and forth. If you want, you can always try bumping this up to 2 and taking one of these out because of how searchable this is, but I like to see this more often than not. Then, of course, 3 Brilliant Fusions. Brilliant Fusions is great for this deck, especially going for the opening hand, just to get that extra normal summon out to get into links. It's pretty kind of essential for this deck. I would never recommend taking out the Brilliant engine. I played this deck and didn't have the Brilliant Fusion in it. Decided to finally try it and put it in. I didn't think it was going to help it that much, and it just made it so much more consistent. So definitely Brilliant Fusion for the Brilliant engine. 2 Twin Twisters. Just this deck loses to back row a lot, so if you have the Twin Twisters, you can discard some of the traps to activate the graveyard effects later, or even on the same turn, which is great for like the one that gets the fusion monster out. But you don't want to get these rid of for back row. You could swap these out for Cosmic Cyclone if you want. I just like Twin Twisters instead. 1 for 1. You got to run a lot of level 1s in this deck, so they get special summons, so you don't get a lot of the normal summon effects, but too many level 1s to get rid of this. Ideally, you have Buster Blader in your hand, activate this, discard Buster Blader graveyard, summon the Whelp, then tribute the Whelp to get Buster Blader to the field, so pretty easy to get him out there. 1 Monster Reborn. Gotta put this card. I think it's in every deck I own now. Just too good with all the boss link monsters out that are coming out on your side of the field and your opponent's side of the field. To round off the one-offs, we run 1 Dark Hole and 1 Regeki. Just trying to get rid of boards. I used to run the Kaiju package in here to get rid of boards too, but can't go wrong with the Regeki and Dark Hole. Alright guys, up next of course we have the traps. We run 1, 2, 3 Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. This is the most recent card that came out for the deck. This card is great to get Buster Dragon out on your opponent's turn. You're definitely going to use this for the combo later in the video, but you activate it, you pitch a Buster Blader and a Destruction Sword card to the graveyard, and then you can special summon Buster Dragon from your deck. Didn't really work too bad or too well because this card didn't take advantage of links till now, or this deck didn't take advantage of links till now. But now that you can take advantage of links, you can get the Buster Dragon out and still be able to go to later plays on that your same opponent's turn. So essential to the combo, I'll show in a little bit. 2 Destruction Sword Memories. This card is pretty important. You can run this at 3 if you want. I like 2 because of how searchable and how you can dump it with Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. Activate it. If you activate it while it's face down, you can discard a Destruction Sword card, special summon Buster Blader from the deck. That's alright, but if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, as well as a Buster Blader and a Dragon monster. Or if you had Dark Magician in there, you can do it as well, and you can special summon, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's not Dark Magician. It's not the other one. It's only Dragon monsters. But you could get out the Fusion monster, Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. I had to read it because I forgot his name. But yeah, great card there as well. 1 Destruction Sword Flash. This card is super powerful on the field because how easy it is to get the Fusion monster out. When you activate it with the Fusion monster on the field, it banishes all your opponent's monsters. Cannot beat that. But if you want, you can always dump it, and then it protects the Buster Blader monster from being targeted by anything. So if it gets targeted by something, protects it, and destroys the card that tried to target it. So not bad, and it's good to have it 1. Next, we do 3 DNA Surgeries. I wonder what I play this for. Dragons. So if you don't have Buster Dragon, you can still use this card, and it basically activates the same Buster Dragon effect to make all your opponent's monsters dragons. Yours too, but mainly only need it for your opponent's monsters. And finally, round off the traps, Solemn Package. I think this always works well for this deck. It's the only card I play, or cards I play that sacrifice life points, so it's pretty good in that sense. And yeah, can't go really wrong with that. So that's all the traps. All right, we're gonna round it off now with the extra deck. So Link 4, Borreload. This card's pretty essential to the combo. You can only really get him out with the combo, unfortunately, with this deck, but when this card's out in the field, it is amazing. I absolutely love this card. I try to run this in every deck I can. 1 Decode Talker, just for your Link 3, plus you need the 2 spots down here. If you can, do Borreload. You don't want to give up that extra spot, but hey, Decode Talker's still a great card. For Link 2, 1 Underclock Taker. This card's just kind of nice in the deck. It gives you that extra space in the bottom for when you do some of the combo pieces. You don't actually want to use this card in the combo. You definitely want to use the next card, which is Linkuriboh. So these cards both give you play spots right down to them, and you want to use that. You want to have that out on your first turn, so on your opponent's turn you can activate some monsters from the extra deck. Linkuriboh can get rid of himself on your opponent's turn, so that opens up the extra deck spot. Underclock Taker can't though, so Underclock Taker is good. His effect kind of works too well with Buster Blader. Buster Blader has such a high attack points. If it's here, you can target one of your opponent's monsters, and it loses attack equal to Buster Blader's attack. So not bad in that sense. So that's all the Link monsters, 2 Linkuribohs, Underclock Taker, a Decode, and Borreload. For Synchros, we got 3 Buster Dragons. You absolutely need 3 in this deck. Sometimes I try 2, but I always try to, sometimes in long games I see myself going for the 3rd. You might want to side it if you don't, not completely sure, but I do love Buster Dragon. It's got a big old booty at 2800 defense. That's great. But when it's on the field, all your opponent's monsters are dragons. Plus, during your turn, you can special summon a Buster Blader if you don't control one already. And then during your opponent's turn, you can also equip Buster Blader with a Destruction Sword monster from your graveyard, which would hopefully, ideally be this bad boy, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. It will lock your opponent out of the extra deck as standby phase, so that's pretty good. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Sometimes decks that spam with Link monsters, you can still get him out there and still destroy a bunch of special summon monsters on the field. And then 1 Omega. I barely go into Omega, but just in case, he can be annoying as all hell. That's it for the Synchros. We run 2 of the Fusions, Buster Blade of the Dragonosaurus Swordsman. He's alright. I don't mean he's alright. He's a great mod. He's great in this deck. You want to run him at 2. You can run him at 3 if you get worried. Because you have the ways you get him out here, it's like if you get him out, you're going for game, and then if he's not going for game, he's going to be on the field for a while your opponent's trying to get around him. The only problem is he can't attack directly. He has piercing, but he can't attack directly, so keep that in mind when you're playing with him. It's a little risky just having him out in the field when your opponent doesn't play anything. You're like, alright, well, I have to play something, hopefully a Buster Blader. But still, want to run him at 2. He gains 1,000 too, so 1,000 for every dragon type monster on your opponent's side of the field or graveyard, so can't go wrong there. 1 Gem Knight Seraph Knight. That's the final part you need for the Brilliant Engine, obviously. Just a really powerful card, and also that extra normal summon. I mean, that is why it's a powerful card, obviously, but the extra normal summon really helps to go for the Link plays later on. For Exeeds, we run 1 Big Eye and 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. This card isn't so bad for getting Link monsters out, but you know, just to have this card just be on the field and be undestroyable is great. And Big Eye is great to just take out people's monsters. I've played this numerous times in this deck and it actually helped me out a lot. Alright guys, as promised, I'm going to show you 2 combos that'll allow you to get the Buster Blader lock off on your opponent's first turn. That is, of course, assuming you're going first and winning the die roll. Regardless, you can do this combo second turn, but it's still gonna require your opponent's turn to go off on the traps. So the first combo I'm gonna show you is the ideal combo. That is Sage with Eyes of Blue, and Sage with Eyes of Blue, excuse me, and Brilliant Fusion. Now these cards are both very powerful in the deck because of this combo, and they're both at 3 of as well because of this combo. So first thing you wanna do in this combo is normal summon Sage. His effect will go off and you'll allow to search a level 1 light tuner. So I'm gonna get Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. I'm gonna add that to my hand. Next thing, I'm gonna play Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion will of course allow me to dump 2 Gem Knight cards, a Gem Knight Garnet, and then, oh no, sorry, not 2, 1 Gem Knight Garnet card, and then a light monster. I'm also gonna dump Performance Trick Clown. Now of course, Trick Clown's effect will go off. You'll special summon Trick Clown, boom. And then you also, of course, get Seraph Knight in the extra deck zone up here. And we're going to play both those bad boys in defense because their defense and attack is 0. A lot of people forget that, especially me, but I'm remembering it for this video right now. Alright guys, now you're going to use Seraph Knight's effect to get the second normal summon out. I'm going to put these guys over here just to show that they're in the grave. The second normal summon will be Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman, and then it'll activate that card's effect to search out a Destruction Sword card, and it'll get Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. Next thing you're gonna do is link. So you're gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4 effect monsters and summon your badass Borreload, the one and only. So he'll be in the extra deck monster zone, giving you 2 spots right here. Okay, then you're gonna set your Prologue of Destruction Swordsman and pass. So now remember, we did that with 2 cards, so you'll probably have 3 other cards in your hand at this point. Please set those Twin Twisters, you know. You've got Borreload now, you've got some extra backup cards, and it's your opponent's turn. Your opponent draws, and you say, hey, standby phase, I got something to activate. You activate Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. Now, I doubt they really have anything to get rid of this unless it's an Ash of some sort or something like that, but most likely they're going to let this go off. You send that to the grave, and then you pitch a Destruction Sword card. You'll send Destruction Sword Memory, specifically this card, and you'll pitch Buster Blader. So once you pitch both of these to the graveyard, you can then grab Buster Dragon from the extra deck and you'll place them here. So now remember, when Buster Dragon is on the field, it makes all of your opponent's monsters dragons, okay? That's quintessential. So then your opponent will say, if they're done with their standby phase, they have a right to play something at that point, and if they go into main phase, you say, hey, I've got one more thing to play. You can then banish Destruction Sword Memories, Buster Blader, and Buster Whelp from your graveyard to special summon Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. Now his effect says when he's on the field, all dragon monsters cannot activate their all of your opponent's dragon monsters cannot activate their effects. So as you can see, with this card and this card on the field, all your opponent's monsters become dragons, and this card prevents them from activating their effects. They also have to be played immediately in defense position. That's just a condition. They're both conditions. So when that happens, he can then attack over with his piercing. So at this point, your opponent cannot activate any monster effects unless they get over Buster Dragon or Buster Blade of Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. Plus, you have a Borreload on the field, which is hard to get over. Plus, you have those other cards that could have been in your hand that you could have played here. So this combo is extremely powerful. You have the lock on before their main phase, and you're kind of sitting pretty too, because this will allow you to do a little bit of protection. You don't have too much else in the graveyard, but hey, it's a great combo to get off. Alright guys, this second combo isn't the ideal combo, but it's still very powerful and very easy to get the lock off on your opponent's turn. It can happen in standby phase, but it can happen at least by battle phase, or sooner if your opponent gets rid of a certain card on the field. So this card's a 1-card combo. All you need is Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. So all you need to do is have this card in your hand. I don't care about the other 4 cards in your hand at this point. They could be anything. If anything, they're going to help you obviously extend this play or do anything else, but right now this is the bare bones to get this play going, to get the lock off quickly. So you'll normal summon Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. Activate its effect to search because it was normal summoned to get Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. Then you'll link 1 in a Linkuriboh. So now you got a Linkuriboh with a spot on the field there. So you might already see where this is going. I'll set one card, which is obviously the prologue, and I'll pass to my opponent. My opponent will draw, and then in standby phase, I will go ahead and activate this. It's up to you. You can wait till main phase to try to pop it. I usually recommend activating if they have a deck that relies on a specific type, specifically if they're changing their cards to dragons has a big issue, has a big issue with them, or it causes a big problem with them, excuse me. But go ahead and activate this, and then you'll pitch Dragon, Destruction Sword Memories, and Buster Blader, and you'll get Buster Dragon on the field. So standby phase is nice because you have this at least going to the main phase. Hopefully they don't have any cards that can negate it that are on the field by now. So that's not a bad idea to put them on. That might not be another bad reason to put them on the field then. So then your opponent will try to do whatever he wants. Hopefully he gets rid of Linkuriboh, because the second he gets rid of Linkuriboh, you can activate this card from your graveyard. So I'm sorry, this card from your graveyard. So you just banish these. He gets rid of Linkuriboh. Let's say he attacks, and you can use Linkuriboh's effect to tribute to negate the attack, or to change the attack to 0. And then, or let's say he just pops this for some reason. Let this card go. Then you can get your Destruction Sword Memories to banish this card and this card. And then you've got Buster the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman right here, and then again you've got your lock off. So not as good as the first one. It is a little more of a risky business trying to wait for your opponent to destroy one of those cards. But again, you have 4 other cards in your hand once this combo goes off, so hopefully you set some more defense. You've got the Solemn maybe. You've got some other good things that'll help you really benefit from doing this combo off on your opponent's turn with only 1 card. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out other YugiBOOM deck profiles and other openings. We do a ton of stuff on the channel. Hope you guys like this. If you guys have any questions about the combos, or if I didn't explain anything, let me know down in the comments. I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback, and how if you guys see any way I could change this, let me know. Thanks guys for checking it out, and YugiBOOM!